Hi, my name's Barb, and I'm here to teach you how to use StoaTrax, the new ballot tracking software that my friend Pascal has developed. It's a great software and really easy to use, and one of the greatest things about it is you don't have to install software on your computer. It's a web-based application, so if you are connected to the internet, you're able to use StoaTrax. All you need to do is enter the URL address for your tournament, which you can get from the tournament director, and then you'll have to enter a username and password, and then you're connected. And another great thing is this can be used on all kinds of devices. Your PC, your laptop, your tablet, your smartphone, all those things can be using StoaTrax and accessing it at the same time. So let's get started and understand the big picture of how StoaTrax works. So StoaTrax is designed to interface with other software applications that Stoa already uses, like FlowPad and Joy of Tournaments. It uses FlowPad because when judges register to be judges at a tournament, FlowPad collects that data, and then the data can be exported into a CSV file, and then that file is imported into StoaTrax and used. And once those are assigned, then the judges are imported into StoaTrax and we have a judge database. It's very easy to use this to find judges, either to check them in or if they've forgotten their judge number, you can start typing their name up here and you can either give them their judge number if they forgot it, or if you have to edit something, if something is wrong. This is their debate club, speech club, and cell phone number. If any of those are incorrect, you can go in very easily to edit, and you can make the changes you need to, and just press submit here at the bottom, and then that's all done. You can also use this information on judges to find out what things that they have judged in the past, or what room they're currently in for a round if we need to find them for some reason. We also have their cell phone number in case we need to get a hold of them to find their ballot or for whatever reason. So their information on judges is there. If somebody comes to the table and they have not registered, or for some reason they're not in our system, then you can easily create a judge here. You type in you put in the different types of judge that it is, and then you type in all their information. The cell phone is a required field. If you try to create a judge without a cell phone number, it won't allow you to submit it. So state is also a required field for NITOC, and then you have to, for parent judges, you do need to put in speech and debate clubs. So after you've created the judge in your profile, then StoaTrax will create this judge number that you can use. Make sure you put that on their name tag and that the judge knows that number so that they can use it when they are picking up a ballot. That is a brief overview of all that you can do with the judge part of StoaTrax. Next, we're going to learn how to assign ballots in StoaTrax. StoaTrax uses information from Joy of Tournaments, which is the tab software. Once a round has been created and their postings have been made, they just drag and drop a file into StoaTrax and it creates a round for StoaTrax. And then you're ready to assign ballots from there. And after they do this, when you go to the rounds menu, you'll be able to see the current rounds on your laptop. For the purposes of this training video, we have loaded multiple rounds of 2 different speech events and multiple rounds of some team policy debate events. However, in a real tournament, the rounds will only show up here as the postings are created in tab. At a multi-day tournament, it's likely that judges will lose their name tag or forget their judge number, and you can look it up for them. However, because of the way that the server processes the data, when you press this judges button right here, it slows the system down, not only for you but for everyone. And so when you're in the middle of pushing around and somebody comes to the table and asks for their judge number, it would be best to have a new tab that is open, and actually you should open this before the round even starts, and then you could have the judge information uploaded or downloaded into your page here, and you can go back and toggle back and forth between the round, and if judge every now and then comes up and forgets their judge number, you can look it up for them and then use that judge number back in this tab. It's better to do it this way with the back and forth between these tabs than in here, because it reloads the data every time and it ends up slowing the system down. We're going to push round 2 of team policy debate. Round 1 has already been pushed and returned, and so when you press this rounds button, this will come up. You'll see these 4 options, and for people in ballot push, you'll really only need to use push and status. So if we press on push here, we'll have all the ballots that have been loaded into Joy of Tournaments and with all the teams. And you'll notice that it's ordered by room number, and it's alphabetized first by the rooms. And then something also to notice is that when it looks at numbers, the software reads numbers as it would an alphabet. So down here, PEA13, although numerically it's less than 115, this reads at 11 and reads the first digits here. So that's why 13 is after 117. So you might need to look for those ballots a little bit more. You can also look for section numbers, but is how the software reads and orders those room numbers. The most efficient and effective strategy is to have volunteers work in pairs. One person will be working with the paper posting and the paper ballots, and another person will be working on a laptop or a tablet. This pair of volunteers will be referred to as a station during the course of this video. When a potential judge comes to the table, you greet the judge and ask them for their judge number. We have found that it gets too confusing if both partners start asking questions, so the partner who is on the paper will be the person who will interface with the judge asking questions. You will then proceed with what is called a blind ballot push. The STOA Debate Committee and STOA Board have given instruction that this is the method that will be used at NITOC 2017 for debate, so all stations should follow these instructions for all debate rounds in the parent ballot push area. Please note that this is not for the community ballot push area and that this is for debate only, not for speech. The ballot push worker will turn over the top ballot from an upside down stack and show the ballot to the judge to ask them if they are able to judge that round and or are free from any conflict with either team or clubs. The ballot push worker should not look at the ballot before showing it to the potential judge. Once the ballot is presented, both the ballot push worker and the potential judge can view it at the same time. If the judge cannot take the ballot that is turned over and is put in front of them, then that ballot is set aside. The next ballot on top is then turned over and the procedure starts over. This continues until there is a ballot that the person can judge. If, after showing the judge 8 ballots, they still cannot judge a round, the judge should be directed to line up for a different debate event if they desire, or be thanked for their willingness to judge and allowed to leave. The ballots that are rejected are placed upside down on the top of the stack.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
The person with the computer will listen for that judge number, and the first thing you'll do is enter the judge number at the top. And once you've entered that judge number, the name of the judge will appear right below and the club that they are affiliated with. Now, make sure that you address the judge by name or listen for their name to make sure that you've entered the judge number correctly, because we definitely need to assign the correct judge to the correct ballot. So double check that you have the right name as you're interacting with the judge. Now you'll notice that some of these ballots now have turned red, and what that means is there is a conflict with this judge, and this judge may not judge people in these rooms. And if you want to know why, it will show the conflict. This judge already judged round 1, these teams, and so he cannot judge those teams again. And there's also 13 ballots with club conflicts from Invictus Fides. So we see here, this is one of the teams that he had judged before, G. Mullen, and so can't judge that. And the other red ones down here are mostly Invictus Fides teams that he can't judge. And then all the way at the bottom is the other judge or other team he judged in round 1. So all the white ballots are available for him to judge. So once a ballot has been turned over and he says, yes, I can judge that, then it's very easy. You just find the room number that's on the ballot. And once you find the room number, you can press assign. Again, the name comes up. Never hurts to re-verify the name. And you just press confirm. And then you'll notice that that judge is now at the bottom and it's in blue. So all pushed ballots will appear in blue, and they will automatically go to the bottom of the page, and all ballots that are in white are still unpushed, and they remain at the top of the page so that it's easier to find the ballots that are still remaining. After you've assigned a ballot, the cursor will automatically come back up here into the judge number filter, and you can start right away with your next ballot with the person who comes to the table. And this is a parent, and you can do the same thing. Find the room number, press assign, double check the name, and if for any reason you need to cancel that and not assign that ballot to that parent, you can do so, and it'll just go back to what it was. But if you do want to assign it and you confirm it, then they will show up at the bottom of the page. Now, if it happens that you need to change this ballot out, say you have an extra community judge come that you weren't planning on, and all of a sudden you need to find this judge and get their ballot back from them so you can give it to a community judge. You can press on P102. Here's all his information. So you have his cell phone number here. You can get a hold of him and ask him for the ballot back. And then what you'll do is go back into the rounds, and once you have his ballot in hand, you're going to reset that. And yes, we definitely want to reset this, and we want to give this ballot to a community judge. And so then you can just type in the community judge's number and reset that ballot to the community judge. So it's very easy to assign and unassign and anything you need to do. And you'll just notice that as you do, they'll continue to become blue. And now you're going to have multiple computers doing this simultaneously, so it will go by pretty quickly. So while the computer partner is assigning the ballot on the computer, the person with paper postings will need to write the judge number of the judge right here next to the room number so that we can have that on a hard copy. It's really important to have this as a backup in the event that Wi-Fi goes out. So you'll want to write the judge number here, and then you'll also need to write the judge number in the bottom corner right down here of the ballot. Now this is important. One, if you put the judge number up here, we found that sometimes they think that's a room number and they get confused. So good protocol is to put it down at the bottom so it's not confused. And this is really necessary. This number is necessary on the ballot because at ballot return, they need to have that number so that they can mark that the ballot was returned. So that's the the person with the paper's responsibilities as well as the person with the computer's responsibilities, and that's how they work together as a team. Entering speech ballots into StoaTrax is very much the same. You would just go into the round that you are pushing, and you'll notice that events that are happening at the same time have tabs at the top, so you can toggle back and forth between those events if you need to. But you would do it the same. You would enter the judge number up here at the top, and we see that there are a lot of conflicts here, but there are ballots that that person can take. Now, in speech, it's very important to notice the panel number on the paper ballot and make sure that the person on the paper is communicating effectively with the person on the computer so that they assign the correct panel number to that judge. And I want to show you the reason that's so important, because whenever you press assign or set or return any button on your computer, it sends that information to the server. However, everybody else is doing that at the same time, but you cannot see their information. And so if you are on your computer assigning panel 1 of 2 to a, let's say 2 of 2, you're assigning panel 2 of 2 to a parent judge, and it is not in fact panel 2, but a community judge. Somebody else really has panel 2. And they assign that on their computer also. Then we've assigned 2 panel 2s on 2 different computers, and whichever computer assigned it last will overwrite the other assignment. And so you don't know what other computers have done until you press the refresh button, and then all the information from other computers that has been going into the server is then downloaded into your computer, and then you can see what the current status is. So especially in speech rounds, it's a helpful thing to do to press refresh and have up-to-date information, and it also helps to reset your computer if something is not right. So you just want to make sure that the ballot that you're assigning, if you're assigning on panel 1, that you are coordinating with the person who is doing the paper postings, and they are labeling it on their paper as the same panel. So in this case, we assigned panel 1 of 2 in Mayfield 258. So in Mayfield 258, we'd want to put that judge number right here and the club that they are with. And that would be, so it's judge number A103, and the speech club is Legacy there. And the reason that you want to list the club is so that you don't have multiple people from Legacy judging the same room. So that way you can identify your judges. So just make sure that those panels match up with what's on the computer. Also, if you try to assign a judge that has already been assigned a ballot, this error message will come up. And also, if you try to assign a ballot to a judge number that doesn't exist, there is no judge A120, so the assign buttons don't work. They're grayed out, so you can't use them. Now I'm going to show you how to return ballots using StoaTrax. In the rounds portion tab, you can go into this page, and then you would just press return to get to the page, and the green color indicates that these ballots have been returned. There's always a reset button for any reason if you needed to undo something that had been done, but otherwise these mean they've been returned. Blue means they've been pushed but they've not yet been returned. So in this mode, you can press either the judge number or the room number. The judge number will come up. The person who is receiving the paper ballot from the judge should confirm that this actually is the judge standing in front of you. There should be a judge number at the bottom of the ballot in the right-hand corner. and you want to make sure that the person who is actually handing you the ballot has an accurate judge number on that ballot, so that we have an accurate record of who judged that round. Sometimes in the flurry of ballot push, there are sometimes user errors when we are exchanging ballots at the very last minute. Maybe the judge number wasn't changed out. So the person on the paper should confirm that, and then the person who is receiving the ballot, when you're entering it, you can do a second check to make sure that the judge name that's printed at the top of the ballot is actually the one that you are returning in the computer. For debate, you will need to indicate which the judge voted for, AF or neg, and then you have the option if they're only returning the speed ballot at this point, or if they're returning both. If you press return speed, it will turn yellow, which means that they still need to return the full ballot, and you'll have that option to return that at a later time. And when they turn in the rest of it, then you would say return full, and then it turns green. So that's how you do debate. For speech, you would go in, and again, just like in push, you have the option to toggle back and forth between events, since you will be getting ballots in returned at different times. Again, green is all returned and blue is pushed, but they need to be returned. You can, in addition to looking for the judge number, you can also type in the room number here, but in this case it's going to be easier to do judge number, so you can do it that way. Again, confirm that what is on the paper ballot is this person that is actually turning that in, and if not, we need to troubleshoot and find the judge number for the person who's actually turned it in. You can go to the judge page to find their judge number. For speech, they also have this option of return speed or return both, but it's very, very rare that you would take only the top sheet of the speech ballot and allow them to make comments the rest of the time. For speech, almost always they're going to be turning these in at the same time, and you would just press both, and then it would turn green and go to the bottom of the page, and you'll be done there. So that's how you return ballots with StoaTrax.